Hi, my name is Trisha, and I want you to do me a favor. I want you to close your eyes and try to relive your last jungle safari. Go on. I want you to think about the thrill of spotting your favorite wild animals, or the excitement that comes with being buckled into a battered jeep, or maybe even... What's that? You've never been on a safari? Well, what if I told you that I could bring an entire forest for you to explore, right here, right now? Don't believe me? Then I'd like to show you something. And here it is. Kadoo, the safari in a box. Confused? Then let me show you how it works. The box opens up just like this, and inside we have a bunch of tools to play around with. First up is the Kadoo board. This represents the trail of the forest we'll be exploring. Next, we have a brief how to play manual, which should give you a rough idea of how to start your forest adventure. Then, we have this instruction booklet, but don't let the number of pages turn you off. The reason it's so thick is because it's translated into 17 different languages. Next up, we have the pawns, which represent the jeeps we'll be using to travel around the jungle. Now, a fun fact about these pawns is that they were all crafted by world-renowned artists from Channapatna, using eco-friendly, non-toxic paint, making them completely, absolutely child-safe. Next up, we have the colorful dice, which sports two vibrant colors, red for the odd numbers and green for the even. And let's not forget the all-important animal sighting cards. These cards have been hand-painted and mass-produced using excellent quality paper and ink to give you the most authentic experience. Now that we're familiar with the components, let me show you how to set up the game. The board opens up just like this. And the cards are kept right in the middle. The 4 pawns are kept in their respective color-coded corners of the board. Have your dice ready and you're good to go. So let's pretend you're playing a game with your family and your sister decides to go first. She rolls the dice and it lands on an even number. This means that she can't move right now because in order to enter the jungle, you have to roll either 1, 3 or 5. Next up is your turn, so you roll the dice and it lands on 1, which is an odd number. This means that you can immediately begin your woodland journey. So you grab your jeep and you move 1 block forward. Remember, if the block you land on is blank, stay exactly where you are. But some tiles have extra directives printed on them, such as roll the dice again or turn around, which you have to follow. Now we've reached the exciting part of the game, the animal sightings. Once you enter the jungle, every time you play an even number, you get to pick up 1 animal sighting card. These cards come in 2 types, the indicatives and the directives. The indicative cards have 4 main things printed on them: the name of the animal, a picture, a factoid about that animal, and a number on the bottom right corner. This number could be anything from 2 to 25 and indicate the number of points you get for having collected that particular card. To make it easier to add, all the numbers are even, apart from the rarest of sightings that get you a score of 25 points. Notice that some numbers are written in circles while others are written in stars. The circle cards are regular ones, while the star cards indicate that you've just witnessed a very special moment in the jungle. Congratulations, and remember to keep these cards safely as they decide who's the winner at the end of the game. Now, there are 2 special kinds of indicative cards, and the first one is the Kadoo card. This card is very rare and very powerful. When you play it, you force all your opponents to return 1 of their star cards back to the pack. The only way to dodge an attack by a Kadoo card is by playing the rarest card of them all, the Papa card. But think twice before you play it because there's only 1 per pack. The Papa card has all the powers of the Kadoo card, plus 1. It has the ability to override the attack of a Kadoo card. Not just that, but the person who played the Kadoo card in the first place will have to return one of their star cards to the opponent. So that's just one little thing you have to keep in mind. Once you play the Kadoo card, you get the chance to roll the dice an extra time. However, if someone counterattacks using a Papa card, they get the extra roll. And now, we come to the second type of card, the directives. These are the reverse card, the pug marks card, the nearest waterhole card, the animal alarm call card, and the turnaround card. These cards have instructions printed on the bottom, which you have to follow. So you continue along your journey, moving forward and spotting all sorts of cool animals, when suddenly you find yourself in the middle of the board, with a huge pack of cards blocking your path. Now, when this happens, don't fret. Simply hop across the path. Remember to collect an additional animal sighting card if you're the first one to do so, for being the fastest explorer. So you continue along your path, picking cards every time you roll an even number. Now, somewhere along the line, you might be lucky enough to pick a waterhole card. These cards direct you to the nearest waterhole. So you get a hold of your jeep and move to the closest waterhole. The second type of special card that you might pick up are the animal alarm call cards. When on a safari, an animal crying out an alarm usually indicates the presence of a predator nearby, which is why these cards ask you to pick up an extra card, increasing your chances of spotting an animal of prey. So when you're in the woodlands, spotting pug marks is a pretty big deal because they almost always mean that a big cat is nearby. Which is why, when you pick up the pug marks card, it also asks you to collect an extra animal sightings card. All these cards have been added to make sure that the feeling you get while playing the big game comes as close as possible to the feeling you get while being on a real safari. And then we have the second set of directive cards. These are reverse the gear by 6 blocks and turn around. These cards are added to slip a bit of strategy into the big game. They can be preserved by the safari goer and used when an opportunity presents itself. There are two peculiar situations that could occur during a game, and here's what to do if you find yourself in the middle of one. The first situation is called crisscross, is when two players bump into each other coming in from opposite directions. In this case, both the safari goers simply swap all their cards with each other and the game resumes. And the second situation is when you manage to catch up to one of your players from behind and land up on the same tile. In this case, you get to pick one card from the hand of the player you caught up to and then continue with your game. Once all the cards are exhausted, the big game has come to an end. Tally up all your scores and the one with the highest points is the winner. But don't forget to take a look at all the amazing animals and moments you've just spotted on your journey, as they make for great post-safari conversation. Now that we've covered all the basic rules, there's nothing stopping you from starting off on your own safari by grabbing a Kadoo kit and getting ready for the adventure of a lifetime. Kadoo, the big game, your very own wildlife safari board game, is available in 2 editions. Spots and Stripes, in which we explore the Niligiri Biosphere, and the Migration Mania edition, in which we discover the amazing wildlife of Eastern Africa. Get both these exciting editions at www.kaadoo.in.